And we are live. It's your favorite insurance agent, Darnold Jr. If you're watching this live, go ahead and type in the chat hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and put in the chat hashtag replay. I have a very, very exciting show for you today. If you ever thought, hey, I want to be a realtor or had the inkling, this is the show that you need to be watching because you're about to get advice on how to be a realtor from a new realtor that she just started out in biz, but she is killing it. So this is the show you want to tune into. So let's go ahead and get lit. All right, for today's show, we have Mikki Williams, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring her on. She's actually chilling in her car. So, hey, Mikki, how's
Hi,
it going?
good. How are you?
Fantastic. Man, it was a
Yeah,
crazy day today. I made it just in time to be on the show with you, and I appreciate you for taking time out your busy schedule. I know you're doing your thing right now, and you
yeah.
decided to take a break to just to be on the show. So the viewers are very lucky to have you on the show right now. So
Yes.
with that, how about you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let us know who you are, where you're from, what's your background.
Okay, I'm Mikki Williams. I am a realtor with Connect Realty out of the Woodlands. I live in the Woodlands, Spring Woodlands, basically. And I'm originally from Ohio, and I've been in this region since about February.
So you are brand new. Welcome
Mhm.
to the Houston area.
Thank
So
you.
what inspired you to get into real estate? Because I know you came from the car industry.
Oh, you want the long version or the short version?
Whatever you feel like sharing.
Okay. So, I'll keep it simple. I've always been into real estate investments for a long time, for years and years. But I've always found myself doing something else, and that something else was hair. I was a cosmetologist. So I was a hairstylist for a really long time. So I never took the time out to really get into houses. I just was more so into the investing side, like flipping homes and doing stuff like that. So I moved to Texas in 2015 to Dallas. And when I moved to Dallas, I had been in the hair business for about really a really long time, but being a salon owner for almost 7 years.
Wow.
And I shut my salon down because my mom got sick and she lived in Dallas. So I'm her only child. So I left Ohio, moved to Texas, didn't know what to do because I've been in the salon life for so long. I was like totally lost. It was a culture shock because I'm from up north and I moved to the south and I was like, oh
You
my
like our
God, what am
Silva
I gonna do?
hospitality down here?
Yes, I love the hospitality. It was just so different. So um I ended up working a regular job and it was a good job and I enjoyed myself. But then I moved to Atlanta and from Atlanta I moved to Beaumont, Texas, where my aunt lives. They have a church there. So she's a first lady and I just wanted to go. She knew a lot of people and I felt like I was more comfortable around more family. And then I got into the car business. And so I knew I would get into the car business because it was almost like I prayed about God, what's next. And I feel as though it just came to me. And it was like, oh, like a light bulb came on, and I knew I was going into the car business. I always wanted to be in the car business as well because I was actually an entrepreneur in Ohio and owned a car wash. And one day we had some cars out on the front, and I went to the front and started selling this car to this lady. And I was like, oh, I can do this, you know? So when I got to Beaumont, it was of no surprise to me that I would be in the car business, but yet it was exciting. So I stayed in the car business about 3 years. And I was talking to the owner of the dealership. I was in finance and sales to the point I was structuring up my own deals, doing a whole bunch of things. And he came to me, he said, you know, real estate. My wife does real estate. And I said, okay, I thought about it for a little while. And after some time, I just took myself to school. And then bam, here I am. I'm a realtor now. Went to Champions over in the Galleria area. And I've been rocking ever since. Last year,
Wow.
I believe about March 31st, I got my license. The end of April, I got my first client.
Wow.
Yeah.
How were you able to get your first client so quick?
Well, actually, my first client was a relative, to be honest, and they were transitioning from Ohio to Texas. and I was able to be a part of that transition. They have never lived outside of Ohio, just like myself. When I moved, didn't know anything, but luckily they had me, and I was a realtor, so I was able to show them around because I had been here for a little while. I didn't know a lot about the Houston area because I was living in Beaumont, but we kind of learned a lot of things together too. But I was familiar with Texas, so that helped.
Excellent. Wow. That's quite a story. I don't think I've ever heard that story actually.
No, I've been your first time.
So that's awesome.
Mhm.
So what advice, obviously you're still relatively new, you're still within your first 12 months of being a realtor, and like I said, you're killing it already. What advice would you give to other new realtors that just start out in the business just like you have?
Um, take your time. Take your time. Don't lose your head. I know it can be rough and tough because with any hustle, it's like it's if come, not income. And you got to go out there and create your way. And I had to learn that it was totally different from any business, from being from a salon atmosphere to going into um, automotive dealership atmosphere. Um, it was totally different going into real estate. It was like a whole new animal. And I think my advice is learn as much as you can about your atmosphere, far as where you're selling at. Learn the people and who you're selling to. Calculate your steps when it comes to, um, looking into leads and lead generation systems and buying leads. Make sure you, really do your investigation before you spend your money. And what else can I say? Hmm. I think the biggest thing for me too is branding yourself. My 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 biggest advice is networking and branding yourself. Yeah.
Branding and networking yourself.
Hmm.
That's awesome. So you mentioned leads. Is there a few sources? I mean, I don't know if you have proprietary sources where you're like, no, I don't want to share that because that's my source and I don't want to share it with the rest of the world. Is there any sources that you specifically go to that you can share, or do you kind of
Yeah.
keep that close to yourself?
Absolutely. Well, sharing is caring. So I love to share. And I feel as though there's enough money out there for everybody. We're all different people in all different places. So what God has for me, it is for me. And what He has for you is for you. And sometimes He showed me things so that I can show other people. So I don't mind. There's a couple of different sources. Well, I went through a couple of different ones. The one that I found most lucrative was actually, to be honest, was Zillow. Zillow was pretty it's they want you in a contract. I try to stay away from contracts. Um, but they want you to be in a contract, and it's about 6 months. And it just depends on how many different areas you want to buy, and that's how you get leads. Since I've been in the Houston area, that was good for me in Beaumont because I started in Beaumont. But since I've been in Houston since February of 2021, there's hard that I'm like on the what you would call back order, as far as leads with Zillow. So there's nothing really available. So if something comes available, I just advise if you can afford it, take it. Other than that, I think basically expired leads. If you want to do listings, I'm a buyer's agent, so I have to brand myself in a whole different way because I'm looking more for buyers. I'm looking for to be in the field. But if you're looking for listings, then I would say expireds. Places like Bold Leads. If you don't have to pay for leads, I wouldn't suggest that you do. If you have a pretty good following and you can reach people without paying for leads, and maybe just starting an email blast, letting everybody know that you're a realtor, reaching out to friends and family, maybe old coworkers, making phone calls and reaching out to people. I learned one thing: your neighbor should know that you're a realtor. If you go to a cleaner's, they should know that you're a realtor. If you frequent a restaurant, they should know that you're a realtor. There's no possible way that you can create a fan base if nobody knows that you're an artist, right?
That's
So
right.
you have to go out and you have to create your fan base, and you have to reach out to people. You have to make phone calls, and you can't be scared of rejection.
Absolutely. We're both in the rejection business, isn't that right?
Yes, yes.
That's awesome. That's liquid gold for those that want to be a realtor, what you just shared. And
Yeah.
so as far as you mentioned branding, branding
Mhm.
is huge. Like what advice do you have as far as branding yourself as a brand new realtor?
Well, right now, my process of branding myself, I'm still learning. So I started by going to different events, volunteering with United Way, volunteering with the chambers, different chambers in your area. Um, I started that way, going out and meeting people. Allowing people to know who I am and showing up frequently because when you show up frequently, they know that first of all, you're going to support the business or the organization. And second of all, that you're serious and you're consistent. And that shows so many different, attributes as far as loyalty and honor, because you're showing up and you're volunteering. You're not looking to get anything out of it. And if you do, like a person like me being transparent, if I get something out of it, that's fine. But I actually like volunteering and I actually like socializing and being a social butterfly. So it's just easy for me to want to walk into a room and get to know someone. Whether I was in business or out of business, I would do that. So being in business is just like times 10 for me to walk into a room and be like, hey, how are you? I'm such and such, and who are you? Because now you meet someone that's just like you because they want to actually for someone to, know who they are too. So it's not just about me when I walk in the room. It's about everybody in that room. And that makes it fun. And that's the first place I started with branding myself was networking and becoming a part of different things, organizations, but calculate them, make sure it's for you. You can't just become a part of everything because it may not all be lucrative for what you're doing. So you got to learn how to manage your time. Don't spread yourself thin. Be an opportunist, but just know what opportunity works best for you.
Excellent. And so, how do you evaluate if a networking event or a place that you're volunteering is actually worth your time? Because obviously, your time is valuable. And like you said, some people go broke just trying to network all the time, but they don't get to closing deals because if you don't
Right.
close deals, you don't make money, right?
True. Facts. So for me, I just go by feeling. Like if I can sit back and I can analyze it, I dissect it, pick it apart, see what it's all about. Sometimes I might walk into a place for the first time and never go back again. So it's just all about feeling how you feel about something. A lot of times when I get called to things spontaneously, I go because you never know what's waiting for you there. It can be an open door or a closed door. It just depends. But you know by going because you learn something out of each room no matter where you go. You're going to learn something. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for money in each room, then I don't know. But when I walk into a room, I ask God to give me wisdom. Give me wisdom for the place that I'm in and place the right people in front of me because that's how I'm going to know whether I need to be back in this room. If I walk into a room and everybody in there is just they're in their retirement mode, I'm not supposed to be in that room because I'm not in retirement mode. I'm just getting started. So why would I go back there, where
For
people are
sure.
retiring? So you just got to know what's for you and kind of judge it accordingly as you go.
Yeah, and I saw firsthand at one of the events we were at, a lady came up to you. She's like, "Hey, I'm tired of leasing. I'm ready to get into my own place." And
Yeah.
you're like, "I got you."
I got you. Here's my card. Here's my information. Get with me. What do you need? My Instagram, whatever you need to get in contact with me, and I'm there. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Mhm.
Well, all that is liquid gold. Obviously, you're just getting started in your new career, and you're the perfect person to give advice for people just getting started. And so, as far as like the tests and stuff is concerned, like what advice do you have as far as studying for your test or getting your actual real estate license if that's what you're about to do?
Oh, so what I did is to be honest, I had to lock myself in my room for like 2 weeks, and I had all of my textbooks. I had Alexa, Google, books, and I was a part of a Facebook Realtor group. So the Facebook Realtor school, well, it was basically for students that were getting their license, and I joined that group, and I was able to ask questions on there to some of the things I didn't understand. So I would advise that you just use whatever tools you can get your hands on to study and lock yourself in. Do not take this test for granted because it's not easy. It's psychological and it asks questions where you would think too hard, but it was really an easy question. So you got to pay attention. And I would say learn the vocabulary. The vocabulary is important because in any test, when they ask you what is this? And they have multiple answers, like, so you can choose from multiple answers, A, B, C, or D. And if you know what that one word means, then you'll know exactly what answer to pick based off the definition of that word. So I would say definitely learn your vocabulary, and you'll win for sure.
Wow. It's so crazy the similarities between our industries because that's exactly the advice I give new agents that want to become insurance agents. I'm like, go to that glossary, study the glossary, and know all the
Mhm.
words.
Know
So,
all the words, and then
yep.
you'll know the definition of those words, and that's where the gold is.
Yeah, because in any industry, really, it's the jargon. Like, usually the jargon is the concept itself is really simple, but they put all these fancy words on something that's simple.
That's super simple, just because they want to, it's almost like they're testing how you think, you know? So you got to
Absolutely.
be a thinker without being a thinker. So you got to be like, wait a minute, no, that word means this, you know? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. So, what YouTube shows would you recommend or audio shows? It could be real estate related, it could be life related. Like, what shows do you recommend that you personally listen to?
Well, anything on YouTube that comes up to mind. If I want to learn more about CMA, I will YouTube CMA, and I get so many good videos. I know which ones is really good compared to other ones. It just depends on what you want, because what's good to me might be, bad for you, but you just got to pick and choose. So I choose by what I want to learn. And if I want to learn CMA, I'm going to look up a CMA video. If I want to learn more about first time buyers, I'm going to look up a first time buyer video, or I'm going to buy a book. It might take me a while to read the book, and I'll just be honest. I'm doing this thing where if I buy a book, then I take 10 minutes a day to read the book, because I'm one of those people that once I start reading, I start falling asleep. So I have to read 10 minutes and then I'm done. But that 10 minutes is very lucrative for me because I get the nuggets in those 10 minutes, and I'm doing it 10 minutes every morning. So if you're not a reader like myself, I love reading. I just can't sit still long enough to read. So if you love reading, I would say read 10 minutes every morning for 30 days. You'll be done with the book. But when it comes to certain things like books, and no excuses is one that I love reading. I read The Secret, um, basically about what you put out in life to the universe, you get it back. So positive, if you're in a positive flow and you continue to put positive out, you're going to continue to get positive back. I do all kind of inspiration videos, as far as um, pastors, motivational speakers, listening to the spiritual side of things and the business side of things. I also listen to things that stimulate your mind, things that I call it brain exercise. Like, we can go to the gym every day and work out our bodies, but I need to also work out my mind. So I listen to motivational videos. It can be Denzel Washington, Will Smith, people that I know that are in successful places, and it took them something to get there. And I listen to what it took for them, and I listen to their deeper part of how they feel about the things that they had to go through and come out of. And one of the number one things I always hear is that you got to go through something to get to something. So that's my thing.
That's awesome. Wow, you just dropped a ton of nuggets. Oh my gosh, I
Mhm.
could go in on the secret because there's a lot
Yeah,
more to the secret than the secret. And something
exactly.
that God's actually been dealing with me with lately. So it's kind of
Right.
interesting.
And me too. I'm a witness, trust me. That'll be a whole nother video for us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So if somebody wants to get in contact with you, how should they reach out? Instagram, email, Facebook, whatever. What?
Well, you can Instagram me actually. Mikki Unicorn Properties is one of the Instagrams I have. And then Mikki Williams, just plain on Facebook, Mikki Williams. So that way, and also I don't mind giving my business number, which is 346 495 9711. If you just want to talk to me directly, you have questions for me. If you don't want to talk to me directly and you're not that kind of person, hit me up in Messenger. Ask me whatever you need to ask me. If you're a person that want to buy a house, and you first time buyer or first time seller, or relocate, military, out of state, hit me up and let's talk. I'll give you information. I don't mind. I'm used to people kicking tires, if you know what that means. So you don't always gotta
Absolutely.
buy if you just want to ask some questions because everybody want to ask questions, everybody want to make money because that's the time and season we're in. I'm not that person. I call myself the real estate angel all the time because I'm here to help people get where they want to go in their homes, in their business, whatever it is. I'm that person. Okay.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out on your Tuesday night to
Okay.
be on the show. You dropped so many gems. This is something you should definitely share with your first time buyers. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what I'm up to and this is what I'm about. And so it's a great show to share with your prospects.
It is. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on the show. And I also want to let you anybody know who's listening if you're a realtor as well or not a realtor or you just want to sponsor, want to do some sponsorship. I am a part of Women's Council uh, for Realtors in Lake Houston. So I am on the board retention chair. I'm in basically in the place where I do memberships and we have someone that does strategic partners, which means that you don't have to be a realtor to be a part of our organization, and you don't have to be a woman either. So if you want to be a part of it, we're growing like wildflower right now. So we can get up to 150 to 200 people in one room. So if you want to be a part of those rooms, just reach out to me on that as well.
Excellent. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for taking time out and look forward to speaking with you in the future. Hopefully, we'll have you back on the show. Maybe you could give us an update in 2022 on what the real estate market is doing because it seems to be changing
Ooh,
from month to month.
yeah, open door season. That's what I call 2022.
That's
Going
right.
up, people that are going up, they're going up and they're not coming back down. So
That's right. Well, we'll see you at the top, right?
uh, at the top.
All right. We'll talk
All
to you
right.
soon.
Talk to you soon. Thanks for having me. Bye now.
Bye. So, if you got any value out of today's message from Mikki, then go ahead and smash that like button. Comment if you have any questions, and she'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And so, the reason I started the show, Finlit Live, is because I felt like financial literacy wasn't a big thing growing up in my house or even in college. Like they taught about business and entrepreneurship and everything else, but they didn't talk about personal finances. So I just wanted to start an avenue where I could bring on people that are experts in various subjects like real estate, cryptocurrencies, credit cards, credit scores, whatever, and interview them live and give them a chance for you to ask your questions. So we have it almost every Tuesday night here at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And thank you for tuning in for those that tuned in, and let's get lit.